project. So
Okay, very good. We'll do 10 15 minutes. So this is we are going to discuss today about how to prepare for interviews. So and also part of brand creation or identity, digital identity. People are calling digital identity as well. Went and like you are creating yourself as a product in the market. Okay. So first one, as Venkat suggested, the number one is deep knowledge on data structures in order to succeed as a developer, senior software engineer. If you want to go top level, in very big product companies, the first step is deep knowledge on data structures and algorithms. That's very everyone knows that. Okay, without these things, no one can succeed in the product companies. Especially we are talking about product companies, not service based companies, right? So second thing is, this is half of the time. I would say definitely, as Venkat suggested, half of our free time we have to dedicate for this coding, algorithms, data structures, complexity, finding complexities, and all those things. Then half rest of the half, what we do, that's where we will spend on the brand creation. Okay, digital identity, brand creation, and what are the different names are there. I still don't remember at this point, but it's basically creating your own identity in this world right now. Like millions of people are there, not even thousands, right? If you have the main like there are pros and cons also, right? You have access to the entire world right now. Everywhere Telugu people are there, Indians are there. If you have full knowledge, you can get a job anywhere in the world. But at the same time, everywhere you go there is a competition. Everywhere you go, our people are competing our people. At the same time, the people in there also trying, right? So here in US also, so many, like nowadays, like there is a different situation. 15 years back and now, 15 years back, I don't see that many local candidates with full knowledge on the data structures, algorithms, and now they are super smart, very, very smart. They are smarter. I would say they are double or triple smarter than our Indians, to be frank, because they know they practice very deep algorithms, very, very big algorithms from the starting of 10th grade itself, even before 10th grade. Okay, so they are super smart. So and they are creating brand identity. That's what I'm saying. Like this brand identity, they are mainly focusing on that. They are doing so many tools and open source projects, and also creating their own apps. That's what I'm coming to, that actually what are different ways to create brand identity or differentiation. Basically, it's like Walmart product, right? What how it is different, right? So Venkat is working in Walmart. You know what are all these terms? How to differentiate you from the crowd, right? So these are the main important things. LinkedIn profile. Everyone nowadays, 99% the HR and the panel, recruitment panel, they don't look at your resume. First thing is resume has a must have a link to your LinkedIn. People will click that link, that's it. I always go with LinkedIn, then only I will come back to the resume and see before even looking at the candidate. The reason is LinkedIn is a public profile. Okay, so and LinkedIn also has so many features, like you can get recommendations, right? And what is the other one, like skills, Anka, did you remember, like the people will endorsements, right?
yeah, right.
Endorsement is very important. Like people will endorse you that you are good in Java, you are good in database or some. These endorsements are really important. So getting more endorsements is also important. Getting recommendations is also important. So I in another, maybe if we still have time, I can show my LinkedIn, and I can also show all those things. So recommendations from the people who you worked with, your colleagues, they will recommend Tarun is a, I worked with Tarun on this project, on this open source project, and he is good in database, or he is good in these languages. He will say all the good about you. That will also very important. Okay, and the other one is, this is one part of the story, and another one is open source project. As I said, spend time on the open source project. Okay, pick whatever the language you want, and also pick whatever the project you want to contribute. There are millions of projects out there. So that is open source projects. There are two things to do. You can, if you have a great idea in your mind, you can be the leader. You can start your own project in GitHub. So do you have GitHub account, Tarun?
Yeah, yes, Suresh.
Very good. You already in the file. You already finished 5 points. You already got it. Basically, GitHub account is another important aspect. If you have it, you can mention in the resume also. And what are you doing in GitHub? That's another part. Like if you have a link, then I can see. You can GitHub will show you how many open source project you contributed, how many PRs you created. So there are two things. As I said, GitHub account, taking GitHub account, and then create your own idea. Okay. And the second one is, either if you create your own idea, you can recruit the team. Like if you with the 3 4 friends, you guys can create your own idea, and you can start implementing that idea. It could be an app, it could be website, it could be a component, it could be an algorithm, it could be a game, whatever it is. You just have something for fun, you can just do it. So it could be already existed. That's another problem. If you say I want to work on this, it's already there somewhere. So but that's fine, it will be there. You can say we implement it in a different way. And you can, someone says, hey, if I see your resume, I can say, what, Tarun, this is already implemented many times, I just googled it, I got so many results. Then you should be able to answer, I know somebody implemented, and I looked their code, they implemented, there are some issues that I found, I implemented in a different way. Then the interview can go on that single concept. I don't care about any other technologies or anything. Okay, let's talk about what are the differences you found in that particular repo, and what are the things you fixed. Is it performance fixes or complexity fixes, or is it usability fixes? So what is the value add you did on the particular idea, right? That's something you should be able to explain if you have your own idea on the GitHub. Or if you don't have that ideas, if you don't have the time, if you don't have the team, you can simply do your own. Like you can pick a your own, pick a project out there, and then you can contribute, right? Pick a open source project and contribute how to contribute, right? So contribute, there are ways to do it. First one is understand the code. Understand, like, get that code, whatever that code language. If you like it, you can install the editors. It could be VS Code or something. You can install and bring the code down into your system and debug the code, understand it. Once you understood the code, then people also, there is a lot of issues, people will file the issues, like so many consumers, right? The developers of the open source, they will say, hey, I want this feature, I want that feature, I found this bug, I found that bug. Look at the bugs. Look at the bugs and feature requests. People will appreciate if you can fix the issues, right? The developers, the who created that open source project, could be 5 people or 1 people or 3 people, we don't know. So you are saying you understood the code, and you found 1 or 2 bugs, you decided to fix 1 or 2 bugs, and spend a week or 2 weeks, and create a pull request. Finally create a PR. You can create, pull request, Karan? Do you know?
Yes, Suresh.
Very good. So create a pull request saying, hey,
Cloning.
hey, yeah, what is that?
Cloning the projects of requesting,
Yeah, cloning a
creating
project is,
repository. Yeah.
yeah, cloning a project is basically to understand the code. So clone the project and understand. Yeah, clone the project and understand. This is the first step. So next one is creating pull request, means you are saying, like, you fixed a bug or you added a feature, and you're asking for the feedback. So pull request is something like, you want to merge this particular one file or 2 files or 10 files into the main branch. You're saying, in the description you can simply clearly describe, hey, owners of this particular project, this is Tarun, I fixed this issue, this is the way I fixed it, please look at my code, and please run this is the way to run the code, this is way to test the code, I tested these many cases. You just explain everything. I'm thinking this bug was fixed, or this feature is implemented as per the requirements from the user, from the developer. And you can mention all the details in a description, and then you can create a request. Then within day or two, the developers or the owners of that idea or the open source project, they can look at your code, and they will identify. If they satisfied, they will approve. Hey Tarun, great job, thank you for helping our open source project. They will simply approve, or they will also say, hey Tarun, please change this, please change that, there is an issue here. They will comment on your code lines in the particular code, and change from while loop to for loop, or this they can clearly explain, what are the issues. Okay, if they really don't like, or if they really found any problem, they will reject, saying, hey Tarun, this is not satisfying our requirements, do this way. Or they will just give a feedback. So you can take the feedback and you try to fix it in a different PR. You can create another PR by fixing the based on the feedback they provided. So it's all part of the actually job of everyday job. I think Venkat already can say that every day we have to do the same thing. We have to I need to work on a code, and after 3 4 days I will submit my code to my colleagues. My colleagues will review my code, and they will give the feedback, they will give the approval. Once they give the approval, I will merge to the main branch, right? So basically you are sitting at your home, and you don't have any job or salary, but you are doing what an employee will do, isn't it? So you are doing, actually you are already doing the you are already doing what you supposed to do after you get a job. Then out of 10 people, I will recruit you, isn't it? Because you already know all the process, you already know you are ahead of the game basically, isn't it? So at least one or two is really helpful. So is it PR process, you follow the same process, Venkat? What is your process in your company?
Yeah, same. Like once we get the sprint task, right?
Yeah.
Uh, so we start uh, creating our own branches for that particular task, and start working on it. Once it is done, we'll raise a PR to the base. I mean, PR to the development branch. Actually, we can
Exactly,
say.
yeah, development branch, yeah.
Then the everybody. I mean, actually, our lead will do the peer review,
Okay.
and also sometimes what we do, because people, if let's say 4 or 5 people are there, we'll have some kind of a like a 1 hour review meeting, because
Very good.
everybody understands
Very good.
the
Very good.
reviews.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we go. Sometimes only lead will review, or I also review my peers review, like
Very
peers
good.
also will do. It's not a lead or a kind of thing, it's a kind of a
Peer
peer
review.
review.
Peer review. Yeah.
Yeah, you can find your you can't find your mistakes what you are doing, but
Yeah.
even though it is a, simple mistake, the other person can easily find out. So that's why we go for the peer reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, and once that feedback or comments are there, then once we fix it, and we'll get that approved, and we'll merge to dev.
Yeah. Very good. That
Yeah,
same process, how many, like, it depends on, sometimes, Tarun, we say every PR needs to go with the one approval, two approval, or three. They
two
will
approvals,
decide as that. So you have two
minimum
approvals,
two.
two
Yeah,
approvals, huh? Yeah. We
right.
also have the same thing. Two people need to sign off. It's not like just only
Yes,
one people. You can't even merge that PR. It's PR
yes,
means pull request. Tarun, are
correct.
you following so far?
Yes, Suresh.
So this pull request basically need to be approved by the peers, and it's kind of agreements. Okay, this Venkat implemented or Tarun implemented this feature as per the requirements. It is working fine. He added all the test cases and everything, and then they will approve, and then you will merge to the development or main branch, whatever the branch. Okay, so I would say these are the steps. So look at the bugs or features, and then create a pull request and try to implement and add the test cases. Very very important. Okay, so how you are going to test your code, unit test cases basically. Okay, so these are the unit test. Okay, now this is one activity. So creating your LinkedIn is one thing, and creating GitHub and pick a project. Either you create implement your own idea or pick a project and contribute. And the next one I would say is, if you don't have this is to be frank, I have LinkedIn, but I have GitHub account, but I did not follow this approach. I did not pick um, any any project out there. I had so many ideas. This is, of course, these are all things I did after 10 years of my experience. I don't have LinkedIn account until I completed at least 6 years of my experience, or 6 or 8 years. I don't remember, but without, I mean, like as Venkat said, our days are different. 2003, 2004, where we started my career. Those days we don't have LinkedIn. Also, maybe it is there, but not so. What I'm saying is, I did this LinkedIn creation, getting recommendations, everything like 10 years ago. And I also created GitHub account. But by the time, since I already have 10 years account, I have tons of ideas. And the other thing is, I'm working on apps, and I'm working as so I have so many app ideas. I created my own apps. So I create apps. So right now you can create apps in any platform. We can create an Android, iOS, or sharing platforms, or you can also do some websites. Also create apps or your own websites. Okay. Only thing is very little bit. I'm not sure whether it's still okay to create backend services. You can create or REST services. Of course, those are comes into the same thing. Like if you create a REST service, the only problem is you can't run easily, right? If it is a website, you can simply say, "Hey, here is my website I created." If it is an app, you can simply say, "Hey, this go to Android Play Store or Apple Store. Here is my apps." You can show that, but I'm not sure how to show the REST services. You can still show. I think the only thing is you need to pay, creating a REST service. You have to deploy somewhere, and you can show with what is that, Swagger, right? You can show your service with Swagger. Have you used Swagger, Venkat?
Yes, Suresh.
So this Swagger is a great tool to represent your REST services. So
Yeah.
I think you can make the Swagger link public and say, "Hey, I created Java services, and here is the Swagger which is out there, and you can try, you can play with it." It's in the Swagger tool. You can put some information like the payload, the input payload, and it will give you the output. It's a great tool to showcase the REST services. So REST services means like any service like Java, .NET, you can use it. So Tarun, you have some idea on the REST service?
Yes, Suresh.
Very good. REST backend services. So that's the only thing. Like how to showcase is very important. You are working on something under the hood. If you're not even surfacing anywhere, it's there is no use. You have to mention about these efforts in your resume, and you also need to mention the links, provide the links. So maybe in the next session or sometime, I will show my profile. I will show how I did my resume is not a great resume, but I will show, at least you will get some idea how I articulated my outside work, right? Not only just this is the main thing, like community activities. Another thing, actually, if you don't have any interest, okay, I don't want to create, like I don't have time to work on these ideas. I don't have app ideas. Okay, what else you can do? That's the next one. Community activity. Why don't we start a meetup like a dev meetups, or BTech alumni meetups, like dev meetups. So you can create, okay, public meetup groups. So do you know meetup site, Karan?
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, create
Follow
your own
regularly.
meetup, and you should be the leader. I can open a particular meetup, and I can see who are the organizers of particular meetup sessions. And you say, "Hey, I'm the administrator of owner of the meetup meetup community, and here are the meetings I did. Those are all public. Anyone you can share that. Hey, we dev meetups or coding meetups. I use it to pull people, 10 people every Saturday or every Sunday or once in a month, and we will discuss all these aspects. If you can project yourself as a leader, right, So you should have a very great future of becoming a manager pretty soon, within 4 5 years. That was the mistake I did. These are all kind of telling you based on the mistakes I did in my career. So I was just doing the coding forever, and now after after 20 years, I want to go to technical lead roles. It's not that easy because we need to learn a lot. We need to showcase that you have the leadership skills, you have the capabilities to manage the team, manage the project, right? So yeah, Venkat, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, even I never heard of this dev meetups. Just now I'm looking at like what is the dev meetup?
No, no,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
saying like just to go to meetups.com. Have you ever
yeah.
used meetup.com?
No, no. First time I'm hearing that. That's what.
Very popular. Meetup.com is something I started around 6 7 years back, and through the SDE skills
Oh,
only. Actually, the SDE skills introduced me to this Meetup.com. This Meetup.com is a very popular site across the globe, and people create like jogging meetup or outing meetup. You can have your own. Basically, let's say you like violin. You don't have any violin friend in your circle. What do? How to gather people
oh,
who have the same
cool.
interest. Basically, with this meetup, the platform where interest becomes friendship. You can That's a simple word actually. This is a platform where your own interest. It could be any meetups. It's across the globe. Even I saw so many meetups in the Hyderabad. So let's say you love photography. You don't have any friend in your circle. How to make friendship who has this is it, outdoors, like you want to do some hiking, right? There are a lot of hiking groups in
Yeah,
meetups in Hyderabad. I still Yeah, not only it's not only for development. You can search for that. If you like in Tarun, like you can say, hey, I want to explore what are the meetups in my area, right? You can search for are you in Nagol, or you can search for Hyderabad, okay? And you can search for the what kind of coding. You can say coding meetups.
Like I used to go connect with remotely area people and different communities in developer communities groups in
Yes,
the
yes.
meetup apps. Yes.
Yeah, there are hundreds of groups you can also join. Just like iFocus meeting, we have iFocus in Hyderabad, right? So the similar thing, people will meet once a month, or it depends, and they will do some activities, so coding it could be coding. If you meet with people coding meetups, you do the coding or algorithms. Or if you meet with people who do the social service, people will gather and do the social service, like they clean the roads, they help the poor people. Lot of activities, like a lot of groups are there. It's all depends on our interest. You can join particular groups, and you will get notified. You will get notification saying, hey, we are doing this activity, do you want to join? A lot of paid and a lot of free as well. There are a lot of free events happening, and paid meetups also will be there. Some of the things you have to pay some fees, because if you want to attend a great conference, right, they have to invite some people, they have to book a hall, and they have some expenses. So some of the meetups will have fees as well. But anyway, somehow it is giving meetups in
oh,
New York.
cool.
Yeah. So that's another thing. So you don't have people. Some people don't have patience or interest to do all these all these source projects. Like let's say you want to become a manager
Mm.
in future. You want to become a development manager, right, Tarun? You don't go with this path. You show yourself as a leader. You show yourself as a manager from the day one itself, right? So you can conduct that iFocus. I think you already in the iFocus. I don't know, Venkat, you know that or not. iFocus is a very great organization in Hyderabad, and that's where people from Andhra and Telangana, they meet and they talk about social and also spiritual, social, okay, and how to
Mhm.
basically getting the most positive energy in our youth right now. And maybe Tarun can give more about iFocus. I joined 2 years back. Maybe Tarun was there before, but yeah, Tarun is going every Sunday, right? Tarun, go ahead and give small introduction to iFocus.
Like Venkat, it's I focus is like a mission which is formed for like to make a connection for the middle class people for different fields in society. Like I'm now able to connect with Suresh in the same
Right.
way.
Perfect.
Like
Uh-huh.
if you are able to like connect in a one organization or a one mission, so we can have a like in our family we used to don't have the ability to network with different organization people or different professions. So
Mhm.
in the focus, the main advantage is like networking with the people who used to work in different organization or proficiency.
Okay, okay. Hmm. Cool.
And
So it's like
I got to know two
Please
things
say
today.
you have that Ramakrishna Mutt in Hyderabad, right? Ramakrishna Mattam.
Right, right.
So
I heard, yeah.
everybody hear about it. Even I did not get a chance to visit it. I was there in Hyderabad for 4 years, I think, but I never get a chance to enter into that Ramakrishna Mutt. But luckily, after 18 years, last 2 years back, I was connected with iFocus. So this is the iFocus website. So
Oh,
their mission is to bring the positive energy, like Subhadrata, like professional wing. There are different wings. Sujana Hita, basically power positive citizens wing, and Suswatantra, right? The entrepreneur wing. Basically, a lot of entrepreneurs will form as a groups and they will meet. They will learn from each other, and also the Susrusha, the student soldiers wing. I think Tarun, are you part of the Susrusha? Right, student.
yes, Suresh.
Yeah, so there are different wings, different groups. People will meet regularly, and they will share knowledge one on each other, and they will energize each other. And this is like the great mission, great organization. I connected 2 years ago with online sessions from the master. Yeah, so
oh, is it online session?
online's also there. Online sessions also there. Like Telugu, completely in
Yeah, it's
Telugu. So
online.
yeah, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, where is the SAR picture? Is it in the homepage? So this is the guru who started mission like 40-50 years back, but right now he is the one. Like, where is the picture, man? Do we have SAR picture, Tarun, somewhere? Yeah. So right now,
It's not in.
yeah, I think if you look at here, the second person, right? After
Uh-huh.
here is our Gargipati, right?
Karikapa.
Gargipati Garu, and then second is the one our Sar, right?
And next is Kishan Reddy garu.
Ishan Reddy, yeah, and these are all really great people. He worked with, and second is the one our Sar. Um,
Oh, okay.
so he is the one who is leading right now, and చాలా బాగా చెప్తారు. Like he speaks about the right values that every person need to install at the age of from 10th onwards. He said the people from 10th grade who can understand Telugu, I definitely prefer by the time you complete the BTech or whatever the degree, you will have worldly knowledge, like how to survive the entire life, and what are the values, the positive values we have to install to grow as a responsible citizen wherever you are saying. Not only, of course, wherever you are, bharatiyata, like that's their main focus, like how the Indian culture and the Indian values we have to include, or we have to install in our mind, and how to make our life better using our
Oh,
cultural values, basically. Yeah. But anyway, so this is great mission I connected. That's how I connected with Tarun. That's another way, actually. So I'm saying, like, in general, the people who watch this video in general find a very better community, best community, which can help your grow. It's growing as a person, grow and career, go in life as well, right? So finding
yeah.
best community and join the communities. Join and contribute, or lead a new, as I said before, lead a new community, lead a new meetup, and and register yourself as a leader. So it's a meetup is a free site, free website. Anyone can create their profile, and they can create their own community. Let's say in your place, where do you stay, Tarun? What exact city or place?
Gachibowli right now.
Gachibowli, yeah, create. Oh, Gachibowli, you are in Gachibowli. Nice, man. It's a very costly area. So you create a community in Gachibowli, like BTech people in Gachibowli or coding people are BTech 2023, Gachibowli something 2022. You can, so if you create a group and put it out there and meet up, people will search and they will join. So the Tarun created a group. Let me join. So they will connect with you, and from there you can lead. So the main important why I'm saying is lead. It will definitely help you down the line. So the interviewer see, oh, he's a leader. He is initiating something. He's not just are you follower or leader, right? So if you are doing this like cloning a repository and recreating some bugs or fixing some features, you are a follower. You are following someone else's idea and you are helping their dream to success. You will be most likely becoming a software engineer like us. But if you create your own community, if you create your own leading, so here also if you join any of the groups you will be a follower, but if you lead, if you create your own, you will be a leader, right? So that will help you. All this, anything is fine, either follower or leader, you still have an activity and it will create a brand identity for you. Okay, these are the ideas that I can share at this point. Anything that you want to add, Venkat?
Yeah, I think you covered all
Yeah,
most of all
these are
the
the
things.
things. I will, if I look at my uh, resume, I will find more. So so I chose this path. I chose LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn profile with all the recommendations. I have around 11 people or 12 people recommended, and I will show maybe in the next session. And I have a lot of endorsements, and also I in this open source thing, I created at least 4 or 5 apps. I created apps and I published to Windows Store, and actually I did one to Android Store as well. I think that got removed for some reason. I created. I can show in the next session. They're publicly available, and there are at least 4 or 5 apps I created in the last 10 years, and and community activity. Coming to the community activity, I followed and joined so many meetup groups. For last 6 7 years, I went to Google meetups. I went to Google Office, actually, the Google Office in Seattle. The product and Microsoft, I used to go hundreds of times. Microsoft is my workplace. And also, like, we used to go every weekends. There are a lot of meetups happening. They will have free food and free people, like at least like free networking. You will get a chance to talk to the product people who is working on great products like Office, Microsoft Teams, or or Windows. You will get a great chance to work or talk to the people who created great products out there. So I joined so many Microsoft meetups. I used to go to Microsoft conferences. Like, even I went to Build conference, which is in San Francisco, which used to work like every year. There is a Build conference. My previous company, they paid everything. That was a great experience in my life. So, and I did not create new groups in Meetup, to be frank, but this is what I'm doing right now, right? So I mentioned that. So I give coding and this data structures sessions to job seekers. This is also what I'm doing right now, is also some activity, the community activity that I can project, right? So to be frank, the recording is the another, to be frank, I'm saying that why I'm recording, not only just helping you people, it will help me as well, right? If I'm not recording, if I'm not putting in YouTube, like I'm just doing, and who knows that I'm doing all this, right? So to be frank, it will help me as well, right? People will see, oh, Suresh is doing something. Suresh is spending personal time. He is explaining to people. He's something he want to do from his life, or he want to share his knowledge. Similarly, just getting a positive energy or positive, what I can say, if someone sees my profile versus someone has exact same experience like me, 20 years Suresh, 20 years XYZ, some person, how they will differentiate, I can differentiate myself, right? I'm not spending 2 hours, I'm spending at least 2 hours of my weekend to the community. That's the positive thing that I'm giving to the interviewer, isn't it? So that's how separation, because I like it. I tried I not I tried I thought of creating my own videos, and that's what people are doing, creating, people creating blogs, people creating nice articles about coding, and people creating very great videos in YouTube. But if I'm doing the same thing, what is the differentiation, right? And it's a lot of time as well. I like this, this live connection, right? Even if one person is there, I'm happily talk to him. It's uh, kind of friendship kind of thing, rather than creating a putting a big camera and shooting kind of thing. I'm not good at acting or talking to the camera. So I'm trying my best to talk to the people directly. That's why I chose this path. So similarly, Tarun, if you once you get a job, let's say you the main purpose is for you is getting a job, right? Let's say 6 months from now you got a good job, then just start something, giving sharing, right? That's what our sir used to say, right? Share your experiences, get 3 4 people from BTech who is just graduating, who don't know anything, then or who don't have the knowledge that you acquired. Just start sharing your knowledge, right? How to prepare, how to do
Yes.
all these things. Yeah. But anyway, these are all different things that will differentiate yourself and that will create brand identity. So, and as I said, if you are super great writer, you can create your your own articles, right? Blogs, or create videos. If you are good at camera, videos. So in YouTube, put it there so that you are differentiating yourself from the, at least you're not differentiating entire world, but you are differentiating at least the out of the 10 resumes that interviewer get it, right? So even in those 10 resumes, you will be 4 or 5, because the people might do more than you, right? So at least you don't, like, if people out of 10 resumes, let's say I got 10 resumes for a position, okay, out of 10 there is a possibility that at least 4 or 5 people will do any of these things. So then you will be at least, okay, let's pick these 5 people, and you are at the number 5. You Some people may do, maybe working on more than one open source projects. They created websites, apps, great. So those 4 people are there in line. Those are my first 4 favorites, and Tarun is number 5. And I will say to my HR saying, okay, let's put the interviews for these 5 people. Now in the interview, in the real interview, this first one will help you to make you number one or number two, or make you number one. I say I have only one position out of 5 people. The 4 people did lot of great things, but they did not have full, they could not answer the questions in the data structures or system design or algorithms. If you excel there, you will be number one, right? So now I don't care about this. You are doing something. You are doing, let's say you created one pull request on the one open source project. That's fine, but you are great at the solving the problem. You are great in explaining. You are great differentiating, different data structures. So I will pick you, isn't it? So that's kind of game. So half of the thing you will be able to succeed with that, and half of the thing creating your brand identity. So this brand identity will help you to pick your resume, or pick out from the crowd, right? Definitely, like, so that's the first step. First step is you should be called in the interview, right? This brand identity will help you to get more offers. And then second one is your skills, your preparation, that will make you succeed. Is it good? Is it okay? Like, I'm giving a lot, a big session.
Yeah, it's great, Suresh. Like,
Yeah, this is something. Yeah, this is something we want to do, like discuss for a while, but finally we got great opportunity today to discuss this. Actually, thank you, Venkat, for your inputs as well. And this will
Yeah.
definitely help the people, because people always don't know where to start, how to do, and what to do. So this really helps, isn't it?
Correct. Correct.
Very good, very good. We'll upload this video, and this will be helpful for anyone. So coming back to the linked list, maybe we can touch base this really quick and we'll stop today. So shall we go ahead and do that? It's already almost 10 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Were you saying some question?
I need to
Yes.
drop off,
Sure, sure.
Suresh.
Yeah,
Actually,
you
some
can look at the
public event is
video.
there.
Sorry, sir. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be dropping off and I'll reconnect. I'll check the video.
Video. Sure, sure. No problem. So Tarun, are we okay or should I drop off the call? Shall we stop? Anything is fine. Tarun.
Like we can discuss for a few minutes,
Yeah,
Suresh.
yeah.
Like
Okay. I will discuss this
I'm okay
stack
with
problem.
few.
Okay. We'll discuss the stack that using linked list because that's what something I shared last week, right? And then we'll stop. Okay.
Yes, Suresh.
Cool. So I think you've gone through the code, right? So you understood the basic concept of how to create a stack. Stack has these functions, right? Stack needs to create these functions under the hood. If you look any language, stack has these main functions: push, pop, top, and top are also called peak. Different ways that they can the name can be different but it does the same thing. Peak means it will give you the top element, right? So and length is also there
Yes.
is yeah. Any questions? So yeah,
No,
basic.
Suresh.
Yeah, this is the just we already discussed last week about how to create a node class. Node has a linked list node has a data and the next pointer, and then here is a constructor. Now, so how to implement a stack, right? So this is the main program. So look at the main program first. We are inserting one, two, three, right? So it will be inserted in reverse order, isn't it? So if you are pushing elements to the stack, I'm just opening whiteboard. So this is my own app actually. As I said, the syncing alphabets is my own app. So I'm using my own app. So it is still available in the public store. So this is the way. So I got this idea, and there was no inking apps 6 7 years back in the Windows Store. I spent around 2 months, or yeah, 2.5 months on creating my own app. So this will be there forever, right? So you can mention in any resume anytime, says, hey, 5 years back, 10 years back, I did my own apps. Look at that, Suresh Pokoluri, and rating, of course, like people may not give ratings, but the downloads they many so many people download it, right? So this is my own app. So
Yeah, really awesome, Suresh.
yeah, it's interesting. Because just learning a language, learning a C sharp, and this is not only C sharp. This is about universal app. This is a universal app. This will work on any Windows device. It could be big device, small device, tablet, any Windows, and also it used to work in Windows Phone as well. Unfortunately, there is no Windows phones right now. And the Windows Phone, have you heard about it, Sandeep? Tarun, Windows 10, Windows Phone 10.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it used to work on Windows
Yeah,
Phone 10
heard it.
as well. So it's a universal app. It can work on multiple platforms of the Windows. So I'm saying like this is another way to create the brand identity, your digital identity. So it is a linking state. Let's get back to our algorithm. So we'll say push one, push two, push three, right? So it will be like this. You will push one here and then two on top of that three, right? So that's how the when you're pushing three. And when you say top, what element you get? Top.
Three.
Three. So top means the top element. It won't remove the element top or peak. It just gives the element. Okay. And the size will give you number three, and pop. If I say s dot pop, it will pop the top element three, and s dot then. And then if you say s dot top, it will show two. So now we are pushing number four and five. So it's just a simple stack functions. We simply create the stack class and we are pushing and popping elements. But how to create this class, right? Behind the scenes in C sharp or Java, they might have exactly the same code. That's what we are going to implement. So you ask, it says you are, let's say, assume there's a hypothetical scenario. You are creating a new language. not C Sharp, not Java. You're creating Tarun. Language name is Tarun, and in that language you want a stack, right? You want a linked list. You want to create stack and all those things. And you are creating a stack like this, right? That's what. If you are creating a new language, if you want to create a stack, you are using linked list to create a stack. So how to do that? So basically, if you are pushing, so assume that this is a stack. So this is stack is always, we always think as like this, right? So now assume linked list manner. So here is a stack. You create an element, stack first, let's say head element. Linked list always points to the head element, right? So if you push one, this is the one, and there is no other elements. Now you are asking me to push number two. So head is always pointed at the top element because that's what you need, right? So what you need to do, you need to insert number 2 after 1, isn't it? Or do you want to insert at the head? Which is the better way? Because if you want a top, right, top or peak, not pop. So if I say top, you want the element number 2, right? After inserting number 2, it has to return number 2. If I say pop, it has to remove number 2. You should not touch number 1, isn't it? After popping 2, now if I say on one more pop, then you have to remove number 1. So, what is a better way to do this in linked list? Is it better to add before 1 or after 1? So if I say push 2, right? Which is the better?
before one.
Exactly, exactly. That's what it. So let's design the head. The head always points to the top element. That's how to design. So if I say push, right? What we need to push, what we need to do is we need to create number two and this new element and put that number two there and point that to the current head value. Now head change to this value. Head change to this reference. That's it. That's a pushing. That's push. Now let's say pop. Pop means you have to pop the top element. So simply pop this element. That means return number 2 and change the head to head dot next, which is next element. That's pop. And if I say top, top means I just want the value. That is head dot data. That's it. If you say head dot data, that will give you the data of the top element. Simply, right? That's simple, very simple algorithm. I will show you here. So push. So here we need to check, this is very important. If the head is null, right? If there is head is null means there is no element. So head is really, like when you create a stack, head is null, that means there are no elements. So you just create a new element. So you, if you say push one, so you create a node with one, and that is our head. That is our head, like only one element, and then that's it, you just return. And also, since we need to initialize size is just another integer, we are just incrementing the size. So initially size is 0. Whenever you create a stack, this constructor, you are initializing size 0, and you just increment the size because you are pushing an element, right? Let's say if head is not null, what we need to do, you created a new node, and new node dot next equal to head, head equal to new node. Isn't it? Is it clear? Any questions here, Karan?
No, Suresh, got it.
Very good, very good. That's just a push function, and pop is exactly the same thing as I discussed. If a head is null, right? You can't even, the stack is empty. You can't even remove anything. You can throw an exception. This is very important in terms of interview perspective. So the first one is in the first method. This is very important. Checking head is null is very very important. As an interviewer, I will look for this. And if you are popping, this is the one I am looking for. I know how to do the rest of, I know you can do the rest of the things. I want to know whether you will write this condition or not. Very very important. If head is null, you should not do this. It will create, it will throw an exception. If the head is null, null dot data will give you big exception. So that will throw, that will crash your app. You if you are running an app or a platform or anything, or SDK or any website, it will crash. If you are, you should not access the elements or attributes of a null object, right? That's why you need to have this null condition. If it is null, you managed your exception, you are throwing your own exception rather than crashing the app. So now what happens? So if head is not null, now you are taking the value of the head, v equal to head dot data, and then you are simply pointing to the next element, head equal to head dot next, right? Isn't it? And also you have to decrement the size because you're removing an element, size minus minus, and finally you return the value. Is it clear? Very clear, right? Is it any questions here?
No, sir.
Very important aspect. Push doesn't have written value. Push never written anything, but pop returns that the removed element. What are the data of the removed element? If it is integer, it will be integer. If it is string, if it is employee, that's employee object. If you are removing an employee out of the company, you are putting a stack. You are using a stack for your employees, and you one employee resigned, then that resigned employee object will be the return value in case of integer instead of integer. So top. Next one is top. Top is very simple. Just head dot data. You're not removing anything. You're not adding anything. You're just giving the top value. And here also the very important. If the head is empty, you have to put an exception. So that's it. Very simple. I think any questions on this algorithm?
No, Suresh.
Yeah, this is my best algorithm because this is the one I will definitely ask in the interview because this will give you a very opportunity. Like you need to know the stack. I don't give any hints. Hey, implement stack. That's it. I will say as an interview as a candidate, you have to say, oh, okay, stack means it has to write these three functions. So you have to explain that, and I will ask, hey, what is push? What is top? What is pop? I will then you will explain all those functionality, and then I will ask about linked list. How do you construct a linked list? Why you need to construct this way? What is this? What is data? What is next? What is this? How do you initialize? I will have a great discussion with the candidate about the linked list node creation. The candidate can come up with a different way. There are hundreds of ways to create a linked list node. So if you go outside internet, so this is not the only way to create linked list node. There will be tons of other ways. So the candidate come up with a different approach. I will discuss with that. So how he is going to create a linked list node. Now he will come to the actual algorithm and he will create these three simple methods. Then I will see all these null conditions and all these things, and I can ask the candidate to explain how the pop works, how the top works, and all those things. It's just a great algorithm where both interview and both candidate can have a lot of discussion. Of course, this may not have a complexity wise. I think you can still discuss the complexity. Let's discuss what is the complexity of push.
Often.
What is the complexity of pop
Often.
and the complexity of top.
Often.
Oh, fun. Simple. All that's the main advantage of the stack, right? Any operation, the
Yeah.
insertion, deletion, removal, or top element, everything is O of one. That's where I can have a great conversation with the candidate. Hey, why? What is the benefit of stack? Then he can say that okay, all these are operations are O of one, whereas in case of array or any other data structure, it's not O of one, right? So that's where I can have a very great discussion with the candidate, and it's easy to write, isn't it? You can definitely write in 20 minutes to half an hour, isn't it? If you have a full understanding of the linked list node, stack functionality, if you practice well, you will be able to finish this algorithm with zero errors in 20 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes, Suresh.
That's why it's a very good algorithm. Yeah. Anyway, so let's stop here today. I think it's almost like 10 for you, midnight night. So let's next week we'll discuss about another great algorithm, removal of duplicate. How to remove a duplicate in a linked list. There are great discussion we can have about extra memory without using extra memory. What is the complexity? It's a great discussion algorithm. We can discuss next week. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Suresh.
Awesome.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Suresh. Thank you
Cool.
very
No
much
problem.
for all.
Yeah, awesome, man. So let's stop the. I'm going to stop the video and I will post it there, and we'll meet next week. Okay.